guys, let's get started then. Thank you very much for coming along to our training session this morning. We're going to be talking to Rex from Sanus about everything AV, mounting, wall experience and everything else you can possibly imagine for it. As I said before, keep an eye on the prices in the system. There's some fantastic deals at the moment for it, and to introduce people to the idea of doing a job professionally and adding those little tweaks and experiences that make it much, much simpler. My first experience of a Sanus design was actually with the Simply Safe mounts. These were sort of a slight revelation to me, because you take a very, very simple mount, add a few very simple tweaks. Instead of having direct holes, you have slotted holes so you can make sure that level is right. You've got a level, you've got a quick release, all that sort of stuff. Just simple things that were made so that the bracket works better than the average. And this is what Sanus does, and does so well across their entire range. I'm a big fan. I want to use them in my own home for a new install that I'm doing as well. And Rex will give you the full lowdown on why they'll do this better than anybody else does. So I'm going to hand over to Rex, who's got long experience with their brackets and systems, knows your language, knows how to sell it to the customers. So thank you very much, Rex.
And we have one customer here to sell it to, so let's gang up on him. All right, so first thing, notice that I didn't say brackets. I didn't say Sanus brackets, I said display solutions. Why do you think I might have done that? And whether I'm an installer or I'm a salesperson selling to the consumer or the installer, if I say the word bracket, what comes up in the customer or consumer's mind?
It's something they never see. The solution is the feature that they want to buy.
The solution to a problem they may not know they even have, but I'm selling them something that makes their life better, right? That solves a problem. They're going to have a better experience at home because of that solution that was provided them. And the secondary part is when I say bracket, people think they know what a bracket is. A bracket's a piece of metal. I can go down to Bunnings and buy it for $20. You've got them on the floor here for $20. But they're not always going to give me the same level of experience. They may not give me the performance. I may not know the options. I may not know the differences. So I start from a place called, why are you showing me something that's this price when I know a bracket is this price? If I say display solution, it opens the mind a bit to say, what are you talking about? Okay? There are solutions that aren't brackets. So one is this one right here. Customer cannot put it on the wall. I have a solution that gives you swivel capability, more stability, room for the sound bar. That solves 3 problems right there. I couldn't put it on the wall. So that's a display solution, even though it's not a bracket, if you're with me. It also means I have 100% opportunity to solve the customer's problem. Just because they can't put it on the wall doesn't mean I don't have an answer for them. I don't have a solution for them. All right, so that's a little bit about display solutions. And we're not moving. There we go. So these are some of the do-it-yourselfers you find out there. Coming back to the concept of why do our customers need us to help them. So yeah, that one's yours. I took that one at your house, sorry. Meant to share that. So these are what people do when they don't want at the store. When no installer said, look, I got a better answer for you, they went home and said, oh my God, I have a problem. Because that's when customers think about it, right? They buy a TV set, they go home and go, oh, my last TV was 40-inch, this is 60-inch, the feet hang off, right? I bought a speaker, and I didn't think where I'm going to put it, so it's not at ear level. I put it on whatever flat surface I had, right? So display solutions go to audio as well as video, all right? Now, more and more customers are aware of wall mounting specifically. Now this chart here is left to right in years. It's also left to right in screen size. As we get further in years, coming to the current, and as our screens get bigger, more and more customers are mounting the TV on the wall. 60 inches globally, about half the customers are now putting it on the wall. Now all wall installations are not equal, by the way. And that's what we're going to touch on as we go. So are we getting the best possible result when they put it up on the wall? Are they getting the maximum experience? And to understand that and answer that, we have to say why mount in the first place, understand what the advantages and benefits are, which mount type, what model, and then maybe why Sanus, because there are many brands out there. What's different about us, what's going to give that customer, whether you're the installer or the retailer selling to the installer or consumer. So I like to say there's 5 benefits to mounting a TV on the wall or putting on a stand like that one there. All right. Some of these you'll recognize. Some of them you may have said to customers. Maybe you weren't really thinking of all 5. And you notice the first one there. This, I think, is the most important one to talk about of all of them because it opens the door into better experience, better product. And that's what I call sightlines. Sightlines has several elements. First is the element to be able to move that screen so I can get rid of glare. Now watch this in this picture here. If I whack a TV up on the wall, great. But if I've got a light source behind me, a window or a lamp, if I can't get rid of that glare, there's going to be times it's going to be very hard to watch. I'm not going to get the maximum experience. I need to be able to move it at least enough to tilt it to get glare off. But there's a second level there. Many people put the TV on the wall up here, right? And they're sitting down here. They're not viewing it straight on. If they can't tilt it, they can't get the best sight lines for the maximum picture quality, right? The right angle. And then taking that a step further, what I really want to offer my customers is the ability to come away from the wall and swivel. Particularly in today's homes that are either larger rooms or even open plan. I may have a dining area over here, I may have an outdoor area over here, I may just have a fireplace. I may want to watch something from over here one time, but over here by the fireplace or some other place in the room, this allows me to watch that screen anywhere I sit. I'm not handcuffed to one spot. Very few customers know this is really available, particularly on larger screens. Because when they walk into a hotel or the restaurants, etc., McDonald's, it's fixed. They don't know that they can move a very large screen off the wall and get the swivel and tilt. So the first thing to tell people about is getting the best sight lines for performance. And if I will extend that a little further, Samsung and LG spend a lot of money and time now talking about immersive experiences. The immersive experience is the idea that when you're watching sports, you're watching a movie, you're in it, right? You're like sitting in the seat in the stadium, you're in the, right there and witnessing the movie firsthand because you're here. To do that immersive experience requires about no more than 55 degrees field of vision. We normally see 135, right? Peripheral and out to here. So that really means larger screen, but it also means you need to be centered on. And as you move off axis, not only do you lose the immersive experience, but you lose contrast, sharpness. If you cannot turn the screen and you're moving over here, you're not seeing the full performance of that TV you paid several $1,000s for. So sight lines emphasize. Number one, benefit reason. Second and third are space and style, of course. It looks good up on the wall, and I can potentially, if I do it right, get rid of that credenza or piece of furniture. Make the room feel bigger, right? Have more space. So space and style are the second benefits, second and third. Fourth and fifth, not least, but also part of it, safety and security. As my TV screens have gotten bigger, they're lighter than they used to be, but they're tippier. And it's very easy to pull one down. We've had a couple of deaths in WA in the last couple of years from TV sets being pulled down. And because kids now see TVs as touch screens, right, large touch screens, they tend to clamber up the furniture. So I want to secure that TV some fashion. Now maybe it's to the wall, maybe it's to a stand with more stability, maybe it's just a strap. So we really have multiple options. Now Sanus is a specialist. This is all we do. We don't make cables, we don't make power, all we make are display solutions. Display solutions for TVs, audio, racking, etc. We are the world's largest brand. 75% of the brackets sold in North America, for example, come from Sanus. So we're a big brand, we're a global brand, we've been around a long time, we didn't just start this. In fact, they were started 40 plus years ago. If you know your history, there were no brackets 40 years ago. They came from speaker stands into brackets as soon as that started to become a reality. So this is a company that's been in it from the beginning. They're part of a larger company called Milestone. Milestone includes another brand called Chief. You'll see this one in the marketplace. Chief is the higher end, heavier duty, commercial, big stadiums, etc. brand. More expensive stuff. The good news for you is the technologies that they develop there in these demanding applications trickle down to the consumer facing products in Sanus. So a lot of the technologies you have in your products today come from that side. So as I said, a specialist, it's all we do. We're focused on 24/7. We're also the only global brand in Australia that's directly headquartered here. Every other major brand that has global design, unique technologies and features is imported by a distributor. That means there's an extra level of cost. So there's some very good product out there, but it will cost you more than Sanus will for equivalent functionality and design features. So you have really a best of both worlds with Sanus. As I said, there's 5 solutions in the display solution family: full motion, tilting, fixed or low profile, swivel stand, and strap. And if you present it that way, 100% of your customers could potentially get one of those 5. The other thing to point out is we go for complete solutions. So we have a way to put your sound bar up under the TV so you can get rid of that piece of furniture. We can put your legacy component on a shelf. We have a home for your streaming box. And if you can't do all those things, we can hide the cable for you. So it's a complete, good-looking solution. These little extras also set you aside from somebody to just sell them a bracket. You're selling a solution. It's going to look good. It's going to perform better. Now, we also mentioned racks. Scattered around this store here are the big AV component racks, but you can't really see them because they're kind of hidden for the most part. But we have component racks and we also have skeleton racks. So we have the display solutions there. And we make a full line of products for Sonos and stands and Sonos and Universal for wall mounting speakers. We'll come back around to that. Now, somebody might say, why Sanus? It's not the cheapest brand, all right? Why am I paying more? What's different about Sanus? So if you can remember these numbers, 5 numbers, you can always answer that question. So the first number is 99%. So what does 99% mean? When we design a product, we design it to work with 99% of the TVs in the market, including the past TVs, something that you were talking about before. So when you open a box, and the out-of-box experience is carefully planned, by the way, the first thing you'll see is this template, which saves many, many lives, all right, by getting it screw holes done once. But also you'll find a very large set of bolts for the TV. You're only going to use one set of these. But they put all of these in here because that design team does nothing but look at every new TV and say, what do we need to have in the packet to work? So the idea being when the customer goes home or you're showing up on a job, everything I need is in there. I'm not going to have to run out to Bunnings. The customer's not going to have to run out to Bunnings. Everything I need is in there. Now, as you guys all know, how you mount is to the 4 screws on the back of the TV called the VESA points. VESA points vary, right? You'll hear things like 200 by 200, 400 by 400. We use a universal system. So whatever range we have, let's say 200 by 200 to 400 by 600 as an example, everything in between will work without an adapter. So they're universal designs. So everything is around 99%. I don't worry about it. It's going to work. Everything's in the box. Unless it's a brand new model with a unique configuration, then the box has to catch up. Okay? Second brand attribute, 4 times. So the first one's 99% compatibility. The second one's 4-time weight rating. So this model here, 68 kilos is what it says in the box. How much did they test it at? 4 times 7, 200 and some, right? A lot of weight. If it's a motion product like these, they moved it 3,000 times, pulled it at full extension, and then put 4 times what we put on the box. You're not worrying about whether this is going to work. In fact, if you do what my gentleman is doing there, I'm more worried about the wall than I am our bracket. Okay? Our bracket will hold, our whole bracket will hold for years. It's not going to wear, drift, bend, sag. Third number, 1, 2, 3 installs. Every product we have has this design simplicity. I need a volunteer here. Ah, you'll do great. Stand up, stand up. Here we go. Now here's the wall. Now, 1, 2, 3. There is no subassembly. It's not an IKEA project here. I put 4 screws in the wall. I attach 4 bolts to the TV. That's step 1 and 2. Step 3, listen for it. I put them together. That's it. 1, 2, 3, simplicity. Did you hear the click? That's because I'm on the other side. I need to know that it is locked in place. It is not coming off until I release it. Well done there. Thank you very much. Give my hand there. Yeah. You probably would have done that better, but all right. So what was the first number? 99%. 99%. Second number? 4 times 4. Okay. Third number? 1, 2, 3. Fourth number? Oh, that's not it. Fourth number, 4.7. Globally, hundreds of products, thousands of reviews, consumers rate an average of 4.7 out of 5 stars. That's pretty impressive, okay? Now, what does that mean? It means that they're happy that someone sold them the product or installed the product. They're glad that they paid that extra because they're pleased with the performance. The fifth number is 400 patents. So there are a lot of people in the marketplace. Many of them just go off, put their brand on an existing design. That is not Sanus. Sanus is design-led. We solve problems. We have unique technologies. I'll go through some of them now. Some of these technologies you'll now find in other products. Most of them started with Sanus, okay, and then got copied. So some of them are things like virtual access. I can't demonstrate that here because I don't have a big full motion. But if you go over to the display and move the full motion product, you'll notice you don't need a tool to unlock it or a tool to lock it again. You'll notice when you move it and let go, where does it stay? Where you left it. Whether it's tilt or swivel, virtual access means I move it, it stays where I put it. It doesn't try to pull back, it doesn't drift down, it doesn't sag, it doesn't pull back, it stays where I left it. Now they show fingertips up there, that's when TVs are smaller. You gotta use hands now, okay? But virtual access works the same. Second, positioning. Of course, the studs aren't perfectly centered, right? So every product will have a way to laterally adjust. So on this model, it's very simple. You just slide this along, right? So wherever the studs are, you secure it, and then you position the TV so it's centered to where you want it to be. The third feature is ProSet. So somewhere on the product, on this one it's this way, somewhere there'll be an adjustment that lets me fine tune to level it. Why is that important? Voice of experience?
Well, sometimes when you've got it swiveled out, it does tend to rock over, so you've got to compensate for those sorts of things too.
Might have to compensate for that. Might be the two screws were slightly different angled. The holes in the back of the TV might not have been precise. You might have followed the soffit line and it wasn't straight. Doesn't matter. Once you put it on the wall, you never take it off the wall again. You don't drill new holes. You make all your fine adjustments once it's up on the wall. Good stuff? So that's the some of the patents. Click stand applies to the fixed or low profile products. You want to be able to get the cables or to the USB ports. It allows you to push off. There's a little click stand, it's kind of like the hood of a car, holds it out so you can get to the cables. That's only applicable or necessary on the fixed products. Now, technology number 5, if you will, is the ability to do large screens. So if you look on the boxes of a lot of products today, you'll see 60, 65, maybe 70 inch, but TVs are all of a sudden what size? 85 inch, 90 inch. They're going to continue to get larger. As we have developed our products, we can go 90 inch plus. So every model that's currently in your premium family that you have in the store are 90 inch rated on the box, but they'll actually do larger as long as the VESA pattern works. Okay? That's that's an 86 inch right there on a BLF 628. And again, the customer doesn't know you can do this.
It sort of looks undersized, doesn't it? It's such a big TV.
Yeah. It's working. Sell hundreds of them. All right, now innovation is an example. So this is a tilt product. It's this one right here. It's our #1 selling bracket because the price point is retail $229, right, opposed to $349, $399, $449. But what it gives you is a tremendous solution that allows you to tilt with large screens. And I say, tilt with large screens, why is that a problem? Yes, because on a standard tilt, ours or anyone else's, the second you try to tilt, the bottom of the TV hits the wall. So that's why the VLT6 comes 6 inches off the wall, so you can tilt. So even up to a 90 inch, you're going to get good tilt. What's the other advantage you can immediately see to this product? Cabling and USB port access. From an installer's point of view, whack that on the wall. That's the professional term, right? I attach that, and now I do all my adjustments. So it's the fastest, quickest way to get anything up on the wall. All right, gives me tilt. By the way, the arms are separate, so I do have a slight bit of the ability to have one here and one in, so I get a tiny bit of angling. Wouldn't sell it on that alone, but it is a little advantage. All right, that's the VLT6. By the way, model numbers mean something. So VLT6 is Vision Mount, the family, large, tilt, 6 inch extension. VLF 628, want to take a guess? Vision mount, large, low motion, Series 6, 3 of there, 28-inch extension. All right, so when you see the model number, it tells you something. Now, there's also a lot of little details. I'm not going to ask you to memorize those. I just want you to remember the numbers. What was the first number?
99. Is that right?
Second number? Yeah, you got one. 4 times.
321.
3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3. 4.7, 400 patents, right? Now, there's a lot of other little stuff that you're never going to talk about, customers are never necessarily going to know about, but things like hardened lag bolts, which means it's not going to deteriorate over time, blah, 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 but it's part of getting the experience right, all right? Lots of little stuff that we pay attention to. Now, online, we have a very robust website. We don't sell, there's no pricing on the Australia website. I've got it up there on the wall. I'll show it to you again later. Online is a lot of support, whether you're a consumer or an installer. There's multiple images, there's multiple videos. There's a video about the type of product it is, full motion or tilt, video about that product's features, and a video about how to install it. Don't tell your customers. All right? But if you are installing one for the first time, you can watch it before you go onto the site. You also have a technical drawing, so if there's a builder involved, they need that level of detail. There's an owner's manual downloadable online. There's also things like mount finder and height finder. So you were talking about older TVs. Some of them may not work, so I can put the model number into mount finder. It'll tell me which brackets work by model. 30,000 TVs in the database. They're adding hundreds every year. Height finder, let's say I've got a feature, a fireplace, and I want to mount above it. Well, the VESA pattern is different on every TV, so I put in the TV model number and it tells me where to drill the holes. All right? So very robust website to help you sell the product, help the installer or the consumer install it. So bottom line, Sanus, as a specialist, as an innovator, will give the customer a different experience. Now let's walk through some of the models that are available here. There's probably about 55, 60 models available in Australia. We've picked the core, most popular or highest performing models for you. And let's talk through some of those. So there's this family here. This family is outlined by the green things there. If you probably don't see that on the camera. But a fixed, a tilt that we just saw, and some full motion, small and large. Those are going to cover the vast majority of situations you have need for. The large ones all cover up to 90-inch out of the box. So this is the VLF 628. It is on display over there. I can't have you walk through it, but what we'll do is talk about what it does for the customer. So what I like to do with my customers, I always like to say, can I show you the best first? What do the customers say when I do that?
They're starting to say yes.
Why not? And how much is fine? Because I want to set the bar high. I don't want to start at the bottom. I want to say, let me show you what is possible. It might be more than you need, but the good news is if they say no to that, they may say yes to the next one down. And if I raise the price ceiling, likelihood is I'll raise the price floor because they didn't know what was possible. They didn't know what they could get. So the first one I want to show them is this one, the VLF 628. So vision mount large full, Series 6, 28-inch or 71 centimeters extension. Now that's a long way off the wall for a 90-inch TV, but it means I'm going to have the maximum swivel as well as tilt. Now some customers are a little nervous about that because they don't want to see a bunch of junk behind there, right? So inside the arms, these are hollow arms, they open up, that's where you run the cabling. These, it's hard to see in this picture, these come off, that's where the screws go, then you put the covers over. So I'm not seeing the screws, I'm not seeing the cabling. Now, there's a little video to kind of visualize that. So the vision mount large full 628, 449 retail. Notice 42 to 90, as long as I can cover the back plate, I'm good. There's that long extension, which gives me the maximum swivel even with a very large screen, so I'm anywhere in the room. There's going to be my tilt. Hiding the cables. This is an accessory that we'll come back to for my streaming box that I can add on. There's that audible click. And now, of course, we talked about ProSet and lateral shift. And now I'm hiding my hardware. And that was virtual access right there, sort of being demonstrated. All right, so it's a beauty, but it's also a beast. Now, what happens if the customer really set heart? Oh, I really wanted that on-the-wall flat look. And this comes off the wall about that much. It's too much. I don't want that far off the wall. I want it really flat. But in talking to them, you realize they really need tilt. They really need swivel. Do you have an option? Now, it's not on display in the store, but you do. It's called the VLF 613. Oh, by the way, there's the 628. Also solves corner mounting problems. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So the 613, not going to have as much extension, right? How much extension? 13 inches, about half the extension. But what it does, it allows me to have swivel and tilt. All right? So my tilt comes here, my swivel on the end. But when I push it back, it goes inside the frame. So it's a very clever design to give me very shallow look when I'm not using it, but the ability to pull it away from the wall and get that swivel and tilt when I need it. $399 retail, VLF 613. And again, suitable for large screens. And actually, there we go. So, by the way, as you saw that where it says 80, I said 80 inch and it says 84. You know the secret of here, if the VESA pattern matches and the weight matches, it's fine. As long as you can cover the back plate, all right? So you see the same thing with my tilt. I hide my cables using a little nylon jacket. And again, I can add my streaming box to this one. So those are the two high performance, large screen, full motion that I would start with. Here's the 613. I sometimes call it flat with benefits. You'll probably edit that out of the video later. Okay, the VLT6, which is the model we talked about before. So if I move from $449 retail, $399 retail, I'm putting this out for reference points. $229 gets me that tilt with extension. So lots of people will say, God, that sounds great, particularly if I start here and come to here. Now in that family, in addition to the tilt, of course, I do have a fixed model, the VLL5 for reference point 179. Now this has everything we've been talking about. It does have kickstands, so it will come away at the bottom and give me some access. Obviously not as much as the VLT6, but if I have a boardroom or a situation where they just absolutely want nothing but flat on the wall. Okay? So that's my premium family large screen solutions. I have, of course, smaller solutions in fixed, but very rarely do you see that apply anymore. It's usually tilt, but more often people are going to go full motion on a smaller screen because they're putting in a kitchen, it's going to be in a den, maybe a bedroom, something like that. All right. Extension on that one? 15 inches. There's also a 9 inch. And you have these on display over there. They have the other same things we talked about, virtual access, as well as the other features. In projector mounts, we really only stock one, 2 colors. It comes with the long tube that you see there, so you can put it up close to the ceiling or drop it down as you need to. We find it covers about 90% of the projectors out there. There's some really big ones it won't work with. You got to kind of go over to Chief for that. But by and large, it gives you all those brand attributes of Sanus in a single SKU for projectors. So you end up with a little bit, that isn't your job, is it? Okay. Now, we already touched on this, but what about the people that cannot mount the TV on the wall? So, problems with bases that come with the stands now, they're often very unstable. Their feet are often over here, which means they may hang over the edge to start with, even if they're in a little bit. They're very low. I can't get a sound bar under there, so I end up putting the sound bar somewhere else. Not best for audio quality. And I get no viewing angle, right? Because as soon as I try to change that, what's going to happen? Feet come off. All right. So we have 2 stands. You have one in this box right here. The other one is the one on display here. So the VTVS1 retails for $149. This one retails for $199. Differences are height elevation. That one goes 5 inches higher. This one goes up to 8 inches. The higher it goes, the larger the screen I can put on it, and the bigger the sound bar I can get underneath that large screen. Okay? That's a 65 inch on this one. The box actually says 60-inch, but as you can see, it's quite capable of doing 65. We were very conservative in our measurements. All right. Benefits include more stability. So it's actually less likely to tip because I've got all my weight on this smaller footprint, right? I also have, of course, the ability to put it on a smaller piece of furniture. I don't have to buy a new piece of furniture. And I have that ability to swivel. Yep. Now, an installer might think that's not me. I drill holes. But no, you sell solutions. So I will put the TV on a stand for you, and that's a solution. I do the work. They don't need to know how easy it is. They just need to know you know how to make it work and that you're going to do it for them. All right? So think about that when you're talking to the installer customers. Just because you're not drilling holes doesn't mean they can't do it. They're solving the problem. Now, another kind of situation, okay, I'm sorry, I haven't finished quite with this one. The other benefit of this larger one is it tends to make the TV float. So visually it's more attractive. It's a flatter base than that one. You hide the cables back here, and the TV appears to float in the air off the base. Now, before I go further, there is another solution I forgot to mention. You've seen this one in the store, perhaps, the VLL61. So vision mount, large, low profile, 1 inch off the wall. But that's not the really big thing about it. This is the fastest, simplest way to put a TV on the wall, bar none. First, you only have to drill 2 holes in the wall. Second, you only have to attach the top 2 VESA points. You can be my wall this time. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. All right, so put that to the wall. Notice the little angles and the measure. So I can get it like this. I don't have to worry about it. I put the top 2 VESA points on. I drop the TV on. Push on the black for me. Right up there. Done. Will it fall off? Nope. It's locked in place until I release it. So this one works for, I think, 42 to 80. 40 to 80, I think is what the box says, actually. Fastest, simplest way. Now, I see 2 benefits. One is that DIY phobic customer is not quite sure they can do it if you're selling it to a consumer to use. The other, as I was saying earlier, for an installer, it comes in a very small box. I can easily always find room in the truck for a couple of these. I may be out on a job, and the customer says,
Yeah, can you do an extra TV? I've got it in the bedroom.
got a TV in the bedroom. Yes, I can. It's going to take me literally 10 minutes to do it. And I got this little box in the car. I've got the 40 to 80-inch version here, and then I have the up to 40-inch version, which has one other advantage, and that is we put all the fixing in the box to allow you to put it into drywall. So no stud required. TVs have gotten light enough in the smaller screen sizes. So, 100%. Did I talk about stable and secure these things are? All right. So let's complete the solution for the customer now. Have you ever seen these installs? Right? Where they whack the soundbar on top of the TV set, they throw the, they MacGyver the streaming box somewhere, the cables are visible. That's not a complete solution. TV's on the wall, but it's not a complete solution. So we offer you the products that allow you to do things like get the soundbar on the wall. All right, very simple design, but it's a universal design, i.e. it'll work with anyone's mount, not just ours. It'll work with anyone's TV. It'll work with almost all soundbars, but the very big Yamaha, okay? And that is because it has swiveling arms, so I can swivel the bottom to find the holes on the back of the soundbar. It has multiple holes, so I can find whatever point on the TV I need to, plus pull it up as high as I need to, so I don't have a lot of cable dangling between. There are some arms out there that are fixed, which means you may have a gap, and it may not work in all situations. It's only a $69 retail. Part of completing the solution, I now get that soundbar up off the piece of furniture. I can get rid of the furniture now. It's going to look better. And if it's on a full motion product, what other advantage might I get? The audio moves with the picture. Exactly right. So now I've got the sound facing me as well. All right. So soundbar mount, simple design, shelf. I've got a legacy component in there. There's a satellite box, there's a DVD player with 120 movies, et cetera, et cetera. Where do I put it? I can just whack it on a shelf. The shelf just attaches to the wall. Doesn't have to attach to anything else. If I need more than one, I just put more than one up. Okay? Simple design. If I can't hide the wires, I do have cable management. Paintable or stainable, I put all the wires inside, clip the cover over. At least I can hide those cables. Yep, there's the picture. And I touched on this one earlier. The streaming box. $39 retail. Very simple, little design. You see the little holes all over it. That's because we don't know what size that box is going to be, right? So my Apple TV, my Roku box, whatever it might be, could be a couple of them even. I attach that one screw point somewhere. I've got this very clever long Velcro strap, right, which has a locking mechanism. So I've put it in whatever hole is appropriate, and I lock it in place. Wrap the Velcro around, and now I have a very clean look solution. I don't have that on the left. Okay, small things. Now I mentioned this before. What if they say no to everything else? Not going to put it on the wall, not going to put it on a swivel stand. We're not done. Now if it's you in the store talking to a consumer, I would do this. Then you need that. Let's go to the till. And when they go, what are you doing? I'm not going to let you go home with a large screen TV and not secure it. If you're an installer, I'm not going to leave your house without securing your television. It's not safe. It's not in your best interest. You just invested $2,000 to $10,000 or more in that television. You got kids, you got dogs, you got...
Yeah, I've seen them time and time again with the peripheral feet just this much from the edge of
Yeah,
the cabinet.
yeah. Even if you don't have kids, you can do it while you're vacuuming, right? You knock it over. All right, so $54 to be safe, secure. Now there are cheaper straps out there. What's different about ours, number one, it's certified to 70-inch. We're testing it on 80s. But number two, it attaches in 3 places. The cheaper straps only attach the furniture to the TV. That's a good start, but you can still pull the whole thing over. That attaches to the wall, to the TV, to the furniture. All right, so now there are 5 options there. Full, tilt, low profile, swivel stand, safety strap. Everybody could get one of those, correct? Every installer you talk to can offer all 5 as solutions that I can do for you right now. Now, we were emphasizing earlier premium, and I asked you to please always offer best first. Always offer full motion first, because many people don't know it's possible. They don't know that they can get that big swivel on an 80 or 90-inch TV or even a 60-inch TV, all right? If you always offer best, chances are some people will say, well, if that's the best, I'll have it. Some people will say that's a little too rich, but I'll take the middle. This porridge is too hot, this is too cold, that one's just right. And if worst come to worst, you step down to Secura. That's another way to go. So I actually have 3 families of product. You have premium or vision mount. You have Viewpoint, which has a lot of the brand attributes, including the template in the box. Don't know if I mentioned that before. That's in Viewpoint as well. It has some of the more design aesthetics of premium at a lower price point. So it's a good middle tier. It's a more constrained range. It only has a handful of products, a couple full motions, a couple of tilts, and a fixed. I also have Secura. Now what I'd like to emphasize is with Viewpoint and Secura, the same type of things apply. 99% compatibility. 1, 2, 3 installation, 4-time weight testing. So you are not buying an inferior product, you're not buying an unsafe product, you are buying a high quality product designed by the people at Sanus who also design these premium products. Now, what's the question that's coming in your mind? Yeah, why pay more then, right? Have you ever driven a Lexus and a Toyota? They're both going to get you there, but the ride's very different. The experience is very different. So, if you will, one way of seeing that is just visually. So that's the VLT6 tilt. This is the QLT35 tilt. So just visually, you can see the experience is going to be different. On motion products, the smoothness will be in the premium, okay? The virtual axis will be in the premium. You won't get that same experience in the secure full motion. It'll be good, it'll be okay, but it won't be the premium experience. So that, just keep that in mind. And I show you the best first, but if I have a price constrained situation, there is a fixed budget, they've got to have it at a certain price point. I have something that has 99% compatibility, 4-time weight rate testing, 1, 2, 3 install simplicity, well-made stuff, doesn't have all the other extras, but it's going to get the job done at the same kind of price point that I usually have to go to a Chinese import without being the same kind of manufacturing quality. All right, so Secura, like Viewpoint, has a smaller range, doesn't have all the extras, some full motion, a couple of tilts, and a couple of fixed. But you have that in the store. Now, AV racking?
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes?
If the team here is selling to someone who's going to install it themselves,
Yep.
I can understand that there's this or there's that and they end up buying that. But if I do an install, I have to guarantee my work. I would always put that in. I wouldn't risk it with that.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, how do I know if that's going to work?
Can I get you to talk to a lot of my other installers?
We can't risk it.
Yeah. And for those of you on camera, he said you can't risk it, okay? You got that? Absolutely agree. What I find, to be honest with you, a lot of installers are used to the cheaper stuff, all right? So they're thinking price, price, price. They don't really know themselves there's a difference. They haven't experienced it themselves. They haven't experienced the time savings, which even if everything else was the same, if I can do the job in 20 minutes less, I might be able to get another job in at the end of the day, all right? I might be able to spend 20 more minutes on the phone building my business or investing my time some way. But what I do find is a lot of customers who, like you, have eventually tried one, they tend to stay with it.
It's actually not about time, it's about cash flow.
Okay?
Getting more cash flow is better from the business than saving time to get another job.
Okay.
So I'd rather sell at premium.
Absolutely. Well, you get more return on the time, same amount of time. Absolutely. That's another one. So you guys all took notes on that, right? But the other thing I want you to hear is with the trade promotion from now to the end of the year, this is an opportune time to have someone take them from an entry-level product. Try the premium one if you haven't already. All right, the gap is going to be smaller, the investment's going to be less. Give it a try. And what will happen, a lot of people will find either time savings or improved return on my time investment by having a higher average selling price. They'll experience the difference. They don't want to go back. Or just the convenience, as you have with this. All right, so in AV racking, just to move on to the other topic, you have our AV racks scattered around the store here, but you probably really don't recognize that because you've got the side panels on them advertising the other products. The AV racks are extremely well made. This is showing with the optional light kits here. There's actually several models depending on the size you need. They are fully assembled with the shelves included, with the wheels included. You cut the box open, you wheel them out, you're done. Sides, top are all removable and openable, all right, for simplicity. Other than quality and appearance, though, there's one big, coming back to time savings, they all use a system of screws that don't require any wing nuts. They tap. So whether it's the skeleton racks like I have here or the motion racks like I have, or excuse me, not motion racks, but the AV component racks I have there, I simply take from the front a Phillips screwdriver and I screw in my components. All right? Which means how much time am I going to save in that job?
No captive nuts on the back.
Nope, no nuts on the back. It's going to be half the time, or better. I'm standing in the front, I just one Phillips screwdriver, bam, 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 put my stuff in, I'm done. So component racks, you can get extra shelves, you can get blanking plates, you can get other accessories. There are some cool little things. Some of these are already included, these shelf stops. They're for small components. Put them in, they keep that small component from being pulled to the back. All right? Some are included, you can buy more. But it's this easy, high quality, fast solution for component racks, whether it be in a customer's home or in a commercial installation. So every time you're selling a PA system, every time you're selling a larger system, think where are they going to put their components, not just their television. Now, skeleton racks, you actually stock 2 sizes. So you see 5 here. That's because they're stackable. So you put 2 of those together to make this. You put 1 of each of those together to make that. 2 of these make that. So you have 5 sizes from 2 models. Now these come unassembled, but they're very fast to assemble. The first time you do one will take you 15 minutes. The second time will take you about 5. Okay? They're very fast to assemble. This is obviously one here. It has that same screw system. So no wing nuts. You just Phillips screwdriver, everything goes in the front. Additional features, you can stack them together as I pointed out. You can hang them on the wall with nothing extra required, or you can get the hinge kit. And if you do that, there's stacked, there's hinged. Very fast, very simple, elegant solution. Now, we touched on TV, we touched on components, last but not least, speakers or audio. Now, I know you're not a Sanus retailer. However, many of your customers own Sanus. You're in homes with Sanus. It's the 800-pound gorilla. 80% of the market share out there is Sanus. Just the way it is. Now, what are they going to do with that speaker? Most of them, when they bought their speaker, never had a thought about what they were going to do when they got home with them. So they're on any flat surface in the room, not necessarily at the right height for the best quality. For Sanus, we have stands. We have height adjustable or fixed stands that do the Sanus 1, Play 1, or Play 3 out of the box. One SKU does all 3. We have a specific one for the Play 5. The height adjustable one allows me to lower the height for either home theater use, right, rear channel, I'm sitting low, or ambient use in the corner, I raise it up. So those are Sanus specific. They do not work with other products. But if someone walks in, I've got some Sanus speakers. All you have to do is say, do you want adjustable height for the 1 Play 1 or Play 3, or the fixed one for Play 5, or fixed one for the 1 Play 3, white or black? Do you need 1 or do you need 2? Comes both ways. Now, these speaker wall mounts are universal. So these will work not just with Sanus, but Denon Hios, Yamaha, Sony, Klipsch, everything but the B brands, Bose and B&O. Right? Again, white or black. Single black looks like this. You can get a pair of blacks, you can get a pair of whites, you can get a single white. Same 1, 2, 3 simplicity of install. I'll show you that in a second. What the advantage for your customer is, that speaker that's sitting around loose somewhere, I can put it on the wall, I can then swivel, I can tilt. And that allows me to get the speaker aiming where it needs to be, but put it where I want to put it. Freedom to do so. Simplicity of installation. All right, 3 steps. Screw that to the wall, attach that using a universal thread to the speaker. Okay, slide the 2 bits together, put the cap on the bottom, I'm done. 15-minute assembly if you haven't done one before. $44 for a single one, black or white. On the wall here, I mentioned this before, there are separate websites for Sanus Premium, Viewpoint, and Securus. So don't let that confuse you if you're looking at Securus, not on the same website. There are Facebook, of course, Instagram, Twitter, blog. There's a whole lot of resources out there. We have the deepest resources of any brand in the world, bar none, no exaggeration, to support you, your customer, and your sale. Any questions?
What's the product? Do you have any single stud mount products in the larger size?
Yes, I do, but not the largest size. So,
How large?
55 inch. Yeah, the question was, do I have a single stud solution for larger screens? I do have one. There's the VMF 518, I think it is, goes up to 55 inch in a single arm.
I'm sure I've used it, yeah.
All right. Yes.
Commercially, I often get asked if we can have landscape and portrait.
Yes. So landscaping portrait, couple answers. If it's a smaller TV, 42 inch and less, the VSF 415, do you remember that one?
Yeah, that one actually will.
That one actually turns. Also the VSF 419. There's also a mid-sized one that has that same swivel, okay? I think it has a 3 in it, VMF3. Have to look into that one. Anyway, that's one answer. Now in a fixed, the LL22 can be used vertically. So for a larger screen, 60-inch or something, you can use the LL22.
Is that one the single pole?
No, it's,
I need to see that.
yeah. I've got a notebook here, which you can look at in just a moment. Won't carry for the people on the camera. The other thing, of course, you can go to the website always. And this is one of the reasons I've emphasized a couple of times. I'd like you to put this in your phones, put it on your terminal, because you can look for yourself, or you can talk to a customer on the phone. Remember, we don't sell, there's no pricing involved. Say, I've got a model that you might want to look at, send them there and have them look at it. Remember, technical drawings are there, manuals there, specs are there, videos, pictures. All right, so you can learn about a model, or you can send the customer there and talk them through it on the phone without them having to come in, right, or having it on display. Other questions? All right, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.